Hey, aloha, and welcome to Hibachi Talk. Obviously, I am not the tech czar. He's skipping work today. Him and Angus are out on a mission, and we'll probably get a glimpse of that. But I am Andrew, your host, co-host. I'm doing both jobs today anyway, Andrew, the security guy. We're going to have Chen on a little bit later from Exacq, so stick around for that. We're going to talk about some awesome surveillance technology. I think we've got a picture from where our real host actually is. He's on the mainland, visiting another television persona. There it is, Adam Carolla. Gordo invaded Adam's show last night, and I'm not sure if Adam's going to return the favor and invade us here someday, but I sure hope so. Hope you had a good time, Gordo, and I'll hold the fort down here as best I can, man. That's a pretty good shot. Looks like those guys were having fun. Right on. Yeah, I miss you, Gordo. I miss Angus more, but, you know, we do miss you, man. Come on back. Next week we'll do something else. Let's see. So we usually start off with, got one tech job. So I dug through some of the favorite stuff that's come in. So let's go ahead and kick that off. The first one here, see, there's a thing when you're going to make non-stick fry pans. Like, you should get labels that don't stick to the pan. All right? So whoever's making these needs a new grade of Teflon, some new stickers or something, but that's a mess. You don't get no one tech job doing that. And I have another one in here. This one bothers me. It's a bottomless pit, but it's 65 feet deep. So it's not like really bottomless. So I don't know like who made the signs, or I don't understand the dilemma there, but it's just one of them ones that bothers me. So you don't get one tech job either for making those signs. The last one, this one is bothersome. So you're going up into this new neighborhood and you gotta stop, and then you can't go left, you can't go right, you can't back up, and you can't go forward. So I guess it's like a dead end. I don't understand that signage, but you need a little more direction if you end up at that intersection. So got one tech job if you're making those kind of signs. Thank you, Zuri. Thanks for helping me out with the photos. So Gordo usually does the news. I'm gonna try to whip through a little bit of news that I dug up this week that I think is important for our viewers out there. We talked about this on Labor Day, that the busiest car thief day is Labor Day. In 2014, 877 thefts. But the second biggest day each year is New Year's Day. So last year, 2,011 thefts nationwide. So New Year's Day is coming. Christmas Day is actually like 11th, so I guess even the thieves are taking a break that day. But think about your car, think about where you park it over the holidays. Also, if you're parking in the malls and you're shopping, don't leave your stuff in the car. We sort of talked about that. There's a lot of that type of theft activity going on around your vehicles. Uber's in the news. We talked about they've had some safety and security challenges. They've been challenged by the police. They've been challenged by cab companies. They've been challenged by insurance companies. They actually, this week, announced that they put together a board of directors, and they're made up of former Boston police commissioners, Texas DOT folks. They've got a woman, Cindy Southworth, who's on the Network to End Domestic Violence. So they're going to be advising the internal teams on what to do about safety and security for their folks. And I think that that's a bonus for them to pay attention to the climate that's saying, hey, we need you to be safer, we need you to be secure. I think it will only help their business. Interesting one, the police union, the Fraternal Order of Police has gone back to the NFL. The NFL a couple years ago ruled that the off-duty officers could not carry their weapons, their sidearms, into football games. And the FPO, the Fraternal Order of Police, FOP, has gone back to the NFL, petitioned them and said, listen, we feel like that these sites, these venues, because of the amount of people that are there, are a real terrorist target, and we feel strongly that our off-duty officers should be able to carry their weapons into these games. It would give us more of a response. We're not catching everything at the gate. We know that people are getting inside and could cause trouble. So the NFL is really standing behind its statement that the off-duty police probably cause more of a problem than by bringing their weapons in, and people may be seeing them and thinking that, ooh, this guy's hiding a weapon, and because the general public doesn't actually know that that's allowed. So we're going to keep track of that. There could definitely be a little bit of a battle drawn there, and I'm interested in how it plays out into other fields, which is some of the other news that I've got. So We had one of the national leaders, police gentleman, put out 11 reservations that he had about guys who are military trained, police trained. These are guys that are trained with weapons, and why they perhaps shouldn't be allowed to carry concealed weapons on campuses in places like that. And I thought these were important points, and I think they're worth talking about. So, a lot of the military trained guys that have concealed carry permits aren't necessarily trained to handle close quarter threats. A lot of them are trained in long rifle type weapons and not necessarily handguns and in short-term combat. And so in a situation that could occur like that, they may actually be in the way. They could actually create friendly fire. And there's also, just because you have a concealed carry permit, there's no regulation that makes you continue to increase your proficiency. So I thought that was a good point. And even CCPRs who practice at the range, because most people don't practice in live fire activities, they may practice at the range, but that's not going to equate to the type of targeting and the type of skills that they're going to need if they get involved in a close quarter combat in some event. Also, the ability to hit targets is not really the same thing as the ability to hit someone during a live event. And there's also the liabilities that are associated with those folks. If they've got a concealed carry permit and they're in a venue and something happens and they accidentally shoot other people while they're trying to stop someone from causing trouble, what's the insurance liabilities for that? He says, that one of the greatest dangers revealed by force-on-force training is friendly fire, and it happens all the time with guys who know what they're doing. So I think it's a point worth making. And he specifically was talking about the colleges and what the colleges should do, and they really think that perhaps there's merit in it, but all of these kind of points are something that even from his perspective, and he believes in a gun-carrying populace, but from his perspective, these things need to be dealt with and looked at severely. So enough of the gloom and doom. Here's some hacker news I got for you. So 2016, they're talking about ransomware for medical devices. So, your insulin pump, your pacemakers. We've talked about ransomware and how hackers get a hold of your device or get a hold of your PC or get a hold of your information and then take it hostage, basically lock you out of it and then try to charge you to have access to that information. Well, what about taking control of your pacemaker or some medical device and then holding you ransom? If you don't send money, they'll cause something to happen that damages your health. So threats to medical devices are on the horizon, and it's projected to be a much bigger business next year than it was this past year for hackers. Interesting thing, Swatch. I found Swatch has been licensed to bring NFC, which is a near-field communication transaction. They license some technology with Visa, where you can make a payment from a Swatch watch onto these NFC terminals, which is near-field communication. So kind of like you can do with your phone today. And this is an inexpensive watch, maybe $90. My concern was that they didn't really talk about that authentication. What if I lose my watch or someone takes it? Are they just going to run my credit card dry or whatever kind of balance I may have on that? So I'm interested in it, but I'm interested in some of the problems that could occur with some technology like that. Another thing from the biomedical world, these guys figured out that just using the amino acids off of a fingerprint with 99% accuracy, they could figure out if the fingerprint was left by a male or a female. This is some really interesting technology out of the University of Albany. And I think it'll help maybe crime scene investigators try to figure out more quickly maybe what a suspect is or who all was in a room. It's not the same as DNA, and they're not looking at it to be DNA, but this is something they can get right off of a fingerprint, especially where there's not enough maybe information there to even get DNA. So that was pretty interesting with a lot of accuracy. And finally, I've got some news about some of these applications, good apps that are built. There was a study that just came out. I just got this data today, actually, that about 250,000 URLs were tested with 13,500 Android apps. And while the apps are good, there's nothing wrong with the applications themselves, they're actually accessing information, and about 9% are pulling malicious URLs back into your device. 15% were talking to bad websites. So that's websites that actually vary from actually harming the devices or a website that's stealing information or annoying the user with spam. 73% of those applications were actually leading you to very low reputation websites, that those receiving a web of trust rating lower than 60 out of 100. And 74% of those applications talk to sites that contain material not suitable for children. So this is an interesting tool that these guys built, and I think they're actually gonna go ahead and parse it out and get it out into the browsers, get it out into the greater community so that you could be alerted. You know, if you've got a reputable app that's been well developed, but it's actually pulling information and bringing you information or bringing malware into your device, and maybe get you an alert that you'll know that, hey, you haven't been directed where you meant to go, or that maybe you just didn't know that that's what was happening. So that's the news. I've got a security minute for you. Let's see, I got, I think, enough time before we get to Annie. So here we go. I've got an article that was written by yours truly. I wrote this a while back, and it pertains to access control, and it's called "There's a Hole in Your Door, in Your Wall," and it's called a door. And it doesn't look like a hole to people because there's a door hanging in it all the time, okay? The door's installed to make it convenient for you and your people to enter and exit the building, right? And the door plugs the hole when it's closed and locked, presumably whenever the office is closed. But during business hours, it's always just too inconvenient for everyone to unlock and relock the door every time they go through it. So the door gets left unlocked during the workday. I don't know if your business is like this, but to me, that's a hole. That's a hole in your security. Petty thieves are known to come in very quickly and take decorative artwork or take electronics right off the desk that's inside if it's left unsupervised. They can vandalize a lobby area very quickly. Cyber criminals who can walk in and we've talked a little bit about social engineering, act like they're there on a service call, go back into other closets. So there's also a little bit of a problem with confrontational violence that can occur. So access control is an important piece. We see over and over again that a lot of the violence that's perpetuated on people and businesses occurs because people have just access to walk freely through the door. So for 2016, in your security plan, please assess whether or not your doors need to be open to the public during the day. If you're not in the retail business, it's probably not so. Okay, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back with Annie Chen. We're not gonna have Angus, unfortunately. We'll see you in a minute.
Here's the deal. I'm Jay Fidel. I'm the host of Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, which is the Energy Policy Forum's program on Wednesday. That's how we call Wednesday Energy Wednesday. We call it Energy Wednesday every Wednesday. Are you surprised? Okay, and we get guys like Jim Alberts here from Hawaiian Electric who can tell us what's really going on in energy. We want to be informed. It's so important. It's the most important initiative in our state. Clean energy is major, okay? And that's why we cover it on this show. That's the deal. What do you think, Sharon?
I think that's great. That's why we're here every Wednesday from 4 to 5, and we hope you all join us so we can hear people like Jim coming on our show and co-host Ray Starling from Hawaii Energy.
Okay, Jim, you've been here today. You've seen this. You heard what she said. What do you think?
I think it's a tremendous opportunity for people to come together and talk about the issues. Oftentimes, there isn't a good forum to bring these key issues out into the public, and this is a tremendous way to go about it. And the activity of this show is essential to keep talking about energy because, as you said, it's such an essential part of our lives that we need to pay attention to it and we need to think about the future.
Okay, Ray, your turn.
Well, this is a special time in the history of Hawaii where we're making some pretty radical changes in the way we use energy and generate energy. And this show is the one place you can count on coming to every Wednesday and hearing something about the latest issues that are on the table, being discussed, that will affect us all going forward. So come join us, and if you have some ideas you want to share with us about energy, give us a call and let us know. We'll put you up here and let you talk for an hour. So come see us.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Jim. It's great to be, from ThinkTech's point of view, it's great to have this show. We love the show. It's our most important show. So come around and listen to us 4 to 5 on Wednesday. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Hi, I'm Chris Leatham, and I'd like to invite you to come and watch my show every Wednesday at 3. I'm interested in a variety of issues that have to do with politics and our local business economy. And I'd like to bring on guests who like to talk about everything from technology to social media to what we can be doing to improve our environment. And so I'd like to invite you every Wednesday at 3 to stay and watch my show here with ThinkTech Hawaii, and I'll see you there.
Aloha, my name is Kaui Lucas. I am the host of Hawaii is My Mainland, here every Friday on ThinkTech Hawaii at 3 p.m. I invite people who are doing interesting and inspiring things in our community to help us keep it local and keep it real. Tune in any Friday, 3 p.m. and also available on our YouTube channel and my blog, kauilucas.com. Hawaii is my mainland. Aloha.
Hey, we're back on Hibachi Talk. I'm Andrew, the security guy. Gordo's, on sabbatical or in Napa or whatever it is he's up to anyway, so there's no Texar. I'm sorry, there's no Angus. I will have a couple gadgets for you. But better than all that, I have Annie Chen here with me today from Exacq. Annie, welcome. Aloha.
Aloha.
Nice to have you aboard.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we have a thing. We always like to know all about you. So we start with birth. No, I mean, you can start as young as you want and tell us where you live, where'd you come
Sounds
from?
good. I have a good story, actually. I was born in Taiwan.
Okay, wow.
I moved to Huntington Beach when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so my dad, I guess, just picked Surf City, USA. And I never
Is
learned
he a
how to
surfer?
surf. No.
Oh, and you don't surf either?
I don't surf.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, Huntington's nice. I've been
Huntington's
there.
a great city.
Yeah.
I love that city. So I grew up in Huntington. I went to Cal State Long Beach. I studied business management.
Okay. Wow.
By the time I graduated school, it was the economy kind of took a dive.
Okay, you don't have to
around
tell
that
us what
time.
year. The economy's come and gone over the years. If you guys don't
Right.
guess how old
So,
Annie is, so don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
don't do the math. So at that time, I decided to go back to Taiwan.
Oh, wow.
When I lived in Huntington Beach, my Mandarin just it fell off. Like,
Okay, wow.
I forgot.
Did
a
your
lot
folks both speak fluent in the
They
home?
do.
So you grew up with it?
They do, but I would reply in English.
I see.
Because
Okay.
it's easier to understand than to remember to speak it.
Ah.
So I could understand it, but I would forget the words to reply back in Chinese.
Wow.
So
Okay.
after college, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to Taiwan and we'll figure it out, right? So I actually went back to Taiwan for about 3 years.
Ah.
It was a great experience. I looked like I blended in, but I really
see.
didn't because I was so Americanized,
Ah.
by then because I had grown up, more than half of my life was spent in the U.S. by then. So
Were you?
it was really cool though.
Were you working, or were you back in school in Taiwan?
No, I went back. I started looking for a job, and
Okay.
I landed a job in Philips Semiconductor Division,
Okay.
and used my English skills to for like a sales position inside Philips. And I was there for about a year, and my resume was still hanging on the internet somewhere. And a IP camera manufacturer found my resume hanging on the net, and they asked me to come in for an interview.
In Taiwan, or?
In
Okay,
Taiwan,
gotcha.
yes. So the company's ACTI, ACTI,
Okay, sure.
IP cameras, and they're pretty well known IP camera manufacturer
yeah.
right now. Yeah, they've come
Yeah,
along.
Dennis,
really.
our guy here in Hawaii is Dennis
Eversole.
Eversole. Yeah, Dennis is great. Yeah, I know him.
Dennis, exactly. So Dennis and I knew each other while I was there.
Oh, good.
So I started my career in the security industry in Taiwan.
Wow.
With a Taiwanese camera manufacturer, and that was kind of my foot in the door. And I just stumbled on,
And-
into the industry really.
So did they bring you back to the West Coast, or
Yeah,
okay, so you're back in
I
California now? Okay.
Yeah, after about a year and a half living in Taiwan, or working for ACTI, then I said, you know what, I'm ready to go home. I miss my Orange County bubble.
Okay.
I wanted to get out, but now I'm ready to go back in my bubble.
I see.
So after about a year and a half with ACTI, I said, guys, I'm ready to go back home. Fortunately, during the time that I was there, they actually opened up a small office in the U.S.
Okay.
in Irvine.
Yeah,
So it was just going back home. And
Wow.
I basically maintained my same position, but my territory changed. So when I was with ACTI in Taiwan, my territory was, instead of having states as a territory, we had countries.
Sure.
So I had Denmark, Finland, and Norway
Oh, wow.
as my territory.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was a great experience. We had at that time, we were about 20 sales ladies like myself, and you would go in the office, maybe only a handful of us would be around. Everybody else would be out and about on business trips.
I see.
Because you go so far to visit your customer, so we would
Sure.
schedule our quarterly trips. So my quarterly trip would be 3 weeks. I would be gone.
Wow.
So I would do a week in Denmark, a week in Norway, a week in Finland, and then come home.
Okay, and you're in.
we do
you're
that
in,
every quarter.
I'll mention another case. She's in like Axis country up there,
Yeah,
right? That's
Axis,
big, and you got
yes.
ACTI, and there's
Yeah.
Axis, which that's
We're a little
they're
A, the big
they're
A.
a huge manufacturer, and
Yes.
they they own a massive market share. So
Yes.
that's tough. How was that?
That was really tough. We were just in the Axis backyard.
Yeah, you
Axis
go
was
around
in
it.
Sweden, and some, if you're near geography, I
Yeah.
was all around.
Uh-huh.
I was
And
all
trying
around.
to encircle them?
Circle them.
Wow.
Tire them out before I take a punch. Yeah.
Nice.
So it was interesting, but I did great. I actually I think my region was a #1 sales region for a couple
awesome.
years while I was
Wow.
there. So, the Norwegian countries, they have money, right? So if they really wanted to go for the top technology, they could spend as much money as they wanted to.
I see.
But coming in, showing the video quality, and then showing the price point, that was very attractive to them. So it
Sure.
was nice to generate that revenue in those
Wow.
territories. So it was great.
So that was outside sales. Were you also outside sales at Philips, or Acti was the first one outside?
that was my first outside sales.
Okay, wow. And then you come back and you do an outside sales in California, so
Yeah.
quite a bit different.
Yes, very different.
So we're gonna do something here. I brought in, since we didn't have gadgets today, so Annie's gonna help me critique a couple of these Christmas ideas. I don't know how you're doing with your Christmas shopping, but we'll try some of these out. So the first one is this electric bath duct. Now this is a gag joke, all right? So don't try it, but you plug this in and then you put it in the tub. You get it? So give this to people you don't like. I did a little more homework. It actually doesn't work. That whole cord is actually plastic. There's no metal in it. So don't think I'm trying to hurt anybody. But if you have something like this and there's children around, it's not a good idea. So that's a good gag joke.
I have a newborn. So
Yeah, that's just not going to work for you.
No.
All right. So the next one we have is the wrongulator. Now this is for that friend of yours that's maybe a little, you want to cause them some trouble. No matter what you do, this thing always gives the wrong answer.
Oh my goodness.
So another sort of a gag joke. I think you unwrap it first before you give it to him. And in this day and age, I'm not sure why you give a calculator, but I thought it was kind of funny.
That will hurt me quite a bit.
Now this is if you're on a budget, and we're big fans of Solo cups. You can always get your friend a Solo cup, and just remind them of how useful this is. The bottom line measures 1 ounce of liquor. The midway line measures 5 ounces of wine, and then the 12-ounce of beer line there. So this is a multifunctional device, and a lot of people don't know that. So it's really a great gift to give someone. Just explain to them how useful it is, and they might be very appreciative of it.
Well, if you drink like me and my friends, the liquor line is pretty much
Oh,
the wine or the beer.
Oh, they make it liquor that high. Oh, wow. So they like to go pretty hard.
Yeah. Because you gotta consider the ice.
Oh, I didn't
come
think
on.
about the
Yeah,
ice.
yes.
So maybe you don't put the liquor in, then add the
And then
ice?
ice,
I
yes.
see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not too good at it. So I don't know if I'll be giving those out or not. I'll try. So let's talk. So you got to California. So
Yes.
you're selling in Norway and Denver. You're going up in the Great White North, I would think.
I
Could I go that
guess,
far?
yeah.
But anyway, so then back to Huntington.
Yes, so
Irvine.
my role changed quite a bit with,
What route?
within
What
Exacq.
territory did they give you?
So at first I had the Northeast as an inside salesperson.
Wow.
So they pulled me from outside sales into inside, and they said the best territory in the U.S. at the time was the Northeast.
Okay.
So I had Virginia up to Maine, all the way to Indiana. I had
Wow.
a huge chunk of territory
Wow.
as an inside sales.
So
but-
cover Chicago was your biggest city west, I guess.
New York was
Sure.
huge for us
Well,
too.
obviously in the
And so
Northeast.
I went from inside sales for that territory, and then I also handled the South Central for some time,
Wow.
and then I handled some distribution channel
Whoa.
for some time. So I made my way through every position possible inside Acti. So I was there
and how many
for-
people did they have at the time in the West Coast
in
office?
the U.S., well, inside the office, it was just the order team and the tech support team.
Okay.
And then we had
Everybody
guys on the foot.
was kind of
yeah, the regional sales.
Some Dennis
director,
comes
blah,
out
blah,
and
blah.
he travels quite a bit, so I know he was
Yeah.
covering a lot of ground. He's been in
Right.
our office a few times.
Right.
So.
So by the time I had left Acti, I was a senior sales manager, and I was probably on the road 2-3 weeks out of a month.
Wow.
It was really tough. And
Wow.
so,
That's a lot of work.
not getting any younger and all that. It was just kind of like, hey.
Getting road weary.
Yeah. So.
Could I have a smaller territory?
Yes.
Where they slowly parse it. Usually as the companies grow, they tend to do that anyway.
They tend-
You get-
yeah.
the reps get more localized.
Exactly. And so opportunity came up with Exacq Vision, and the territory was Southern California, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Hawaii, of course.
Oh, and that's what you're here for.
Oh, Hawaii!
All right.
Hawaii
This
really stole the job, I have to say.
You think?
I think, yes.
And that brings you here.
Yes,
I
exactly.
think that's a good moment for what Gordo calls a poignant pause, because we made it up to Exacq, which we're going to talk about quite a bit in our next segment. So let's go pay some bills, which we have to do, and we'll come right back with Annie Chen, and we'll talk about Exacq Vision.
Sounds good.
Hi, my name is Cindy Matsuki, and I host the show High Growth with HTDC on ThinkTech Hawaii. This is the show where we talk about all things tech, innovation, entrepreneurship, and manufacturing, because there's so many things going on in Hawaii and more people should know about them. So this is the program that you can come and find out about all the things happening in Hawaii. And this show also airs on Aloha 54 along with ThinkTech Hawaii. And it broadcasts live every other Tuesday at 3 p.m. So don't forget, check out the show Tuesday, 3 p.m. every other week. High Growth with HTDC. Thanks.
Aloha! How you doing? It's me, Angus McTech, asking you to come join us on ThinkTech Hawaii Hibachi Talk. Join me and my two hosts, Gordo the Tech Czar and Ender the Security Guy, every Friday from 12:45 till 13:45. See you on Fridays, and remember, let your wing gang free wherever you be.
Hey, aloha. Welcome back to Hibachi Talk. Minus Gordon, minus Angus, but we have Annie Chen. So this is great. I'm the co-host and the host today, Andrew the Security Guy, and we're talking about Exacq Vision in this segment. So if you haven't played with Exacq, you've been missing out, by the way. Annie is currently the
Regional sales
Southwest Regional. So you're still handling Vegas?
I do. Recently, starting October 1st, they also gave me Utah, New Mexico, and El Paso.
It grew a little.
Yeah.
Wow. So all the way,
Listen,
and then of course Hawaii. So a
yeah.
little bonus in there.
I still have Hawaii, so I said, hey, as long as I still have Hawaii. They said, you had a baby? Here's more.
Nice. And
Here's
so,
my territory.
and your son is how old?
5 months.
Nice. And
Yes.
he's with you on this trip?
He's on the beach with dad and grandma
Right on.
somewhere,
See?
enjoying
So
the sun and the weather.
Hawaii. Well, we'll get you out there soon.
Yeah.
We're going to learn a little bit more about Exacq. So how, so, you know, this territory, you had territories in Europe. How do the VARs compare? We're going to take a look at some VAR work here in just a minute, but how have you found the VARs that you work with?
Down in Southern California, which is pretty much my strongest market as far as what I handle right now, you know, unfortunately, there's the trunk slammers, and then there's the integrators that are certified and, you know, burn test. They benchmark all the equipment that they put out there, and you know, so there's a huge variety of customers that I've seen over the years.
Wow, I
And,
see. Let's take a look at some of those. I think we got a couple of photos, so we'll see if we could get some grading. So here's a before. If you walk in and see this kind of work, you really don't want to work with these guys.
I want to turn around and leave.
So a VAR went in and cleaned this up, a VAR with a little more quality idea. And there's what something really ought to look like if it's been, I think, properly installed.
Yes.
So that's what you hope to see when
Yes.
you visit their sites. And Annie does come and inspect your work, so you guys, if you're doing Exacq, you better be on the ball. Well, things need to be very neatly labeled. You know, you see how they've labeled everything for you, and everything's
That's
cleaned up. So
perfect.
when you've got a problem, you've got to troubleshoot, you've got to service it, you can get in and quickly get to the circuit that may be bad, or the cable that may be bad, or whatever you need to do. So it's super important to do clean installs.
Definitely.
And I think we've got one more example up there. Let's see a before. Here's a closet that looks like a waterfall. I can't even tell what's falling out of that thing, and that is I don't even know what to say, but I've seen some bad work. I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite that bad. Yeah, so a VAR went in there and cleaned this one up, I think, and you ended up with, I think there was a lot of excessive work in there. So maybe there'd been 4 or 5 evolutions and no one took out the old cabling, which is another thing that you really should do today. You know, when you're cleaning up a cabinet, clean it all the way up and make sure that everything that's in there belongs. And so there's an example, hopefully, of one of your VARs and their kind of work.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
she hopes. Right on.
I hope so.
Yeah. So what's going on with Exacq these days? So you've got, I know there's some new technologies out there that you guys have been playing with.
Definitely.
Some new, I think, integrations with a few other manufacturers.
Exactly. So for you guys who are not sure what Exacq is, we are a open platform video management software. We are compatible with over 2,000 camera models out there. When I was with Exacq was our top 3 premier partners on the VMS side. So when it was time to make that jump, I said, oh yes, a nice solid platform, very easy to use, very reliable. And I think across the board, throughout my first 3 months of visiting customers, the feedback that I always get is very simple to use, even from the end user perspective. The most recent update that we have is the true access control integration. So it ties into your talk earlier about that big hole in your wall and who's coming in, who's going out, and what are they doing, you know? So we've tied in the CanTech access control to the 7.2, and on the Exacq client, instead of just seeing your video from your cameras, you can actually also see door status. And you can also start unlocking the doors. So let's say Andrew here has this badge, he's trying to get in the door that he's supposed to have access to, and for some reason the reader is not working. All right, or maybe your car got demagnetized or something.
Happened, sure.
Something happened, or you know, so you're pinging the door, and it's like, no, you're not allowed in.
Or
So
I'm
at
there
that-
early, maybe.
or-
Maybe I'm not
yeah,
scheduled until 8 and I'm there at 6 or something.
Exactly,
Sure.
exactly. And maybe what you can do is call the owner of the building and say, hey, you know, this is Andrew, I'm at the door, I need to get in. So the owner basically can take out his mobile app, look on the video to verify
See
that
that
it
that's
is
me
you, your face in the video,
I wave
and
at 'em.
unlock the door for temporarily 5 or 10 seconds or however long you like. Let you in the building, and the door will remain locked again.
Sure.
So that kind of access control integration really allows the user to have the capability to know really what's going on in terms of security in their building.
And I think also to help what you point out, helping, you know, when there's something supposed to be happening or something's out of the ordinary,
Right.
it allows someone to give help remotely.
Right.
And that integration, you know, we've for years always hung cameras, especially on perimeter doors. You know, when you've got an access control door, you need an intercom there, you need a camera so that you can communicate to someone when there's, you know, I mean, you just showed up and forgot your
Yeah.
badge, you know, whatever,
Right.
but you need to get in.
Yeah.
And the access control system typically will have a picture of that person, so you can compare that live image like you
Right.
see on our cameras now
Yeah.
with the person's picture that's on their badge. You can pretty much guess that's them. Maybe you need to talk to them,
Yeah.
ask them a password or something like
Exactly.
that could also be
Exactly.
held in that database.
So-
really good integration.
So the integration is new on the Exacq platform.
Okay.
The CanTech, on the other side, the access control platform has always been integrated on the Exacq video.
Sure, I
so on the access control platform, you get the swipe and show, and then if you want to verify, you can pull the video to verify that's the person that's swiping, right?
Gotcha.
This is new for us because we're now doing it the other way.
Pulling it into your-
yeah,
into
we're
your
pulling,
VMS, into your platform.
Right, we're pulling the access control information into our platform for users who are more familiar with the Exacq platform.
Sure,
Or
awesome.
prefer, right? So that's new. You can also do a couple of other things with the live view now. So there's access control integration. You can also do two-way audio. So if your camera has two-way audio capability, you can talk to the person at the front door. So that kind of replaces your intercom, essentially. If you-
Exactly.
yeah, so that's great. Kind of unifying everything into one solid platform, so you, as an end user, you don't have to go to this and that, different platforms to do different things.
Sure,
Right?
and the work that we get, typically, a lot of times the owner will forget that, you know, when you put that card reader out there, there's going to be people that show up that don't have a badge, or they're a guest, or for whatever reason. You've got to have some way to alert the folks inside. And, you know, a button could be an alert that shows up on that camera view, or you can have an intercom, or as Andy said, a lot of the cameras today will let you embed audio in that same IP signal that goes back to bring the video back to the VMS. So you can use the computer interface to talk to folks. It freaks them out though when they don't know there's someone there, and then all of a sudden you just speak, and like the speaker talks to them. They're like, whoa, and they don't, you know, if there's an intercom, they're used to the button.
Yeah.
But I've seen that done. It's a pretty interesting, evolution. So you're integrated to CanTech. You announced recently, I think, Quintron.
Yes.
And how is that integration?
It's great.
I'm not as familiar with Quintron as I am CanTech.
Actually, I'm sorry, I'm not either.
Okay.
We have so many different integration partners, actually.
Sure.
So as an Exacq platform, we provide our SDK, which is our software development kit, for anybody that wants to write into our software. So there are a lot of partners out there. If you go to our Exacq website, we have POS integration, point of sales, integration.
I've done
that's
some of that
written
with
in
your
it.
platform. Yeah.
Right. So there's access control. There is license plate recognition.
LPR,
So
yeah.
or other types of analytics. So LPR is great. Nowadays, I think it's is it getting popular for you guys out here?
It
We're
depends.
getting-
The gated communities like it. My DOD obviously likes it. So it
Yeah.
just depends on the application. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think the university's adopting it. So there's
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of reasons why, and they're doing more things with it today. You
Yeah.
know, like being able to quickly know when you're going through a parking lot if that car is supposed to be there, if they paid their bills this month. There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
LPR is becoming many things. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Well, it's funny to see analytics evolve over the
Sure.
last 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, every trade show that we go to is, don't you feel that way? Like the
Yeah.
last 5 years, oh yeah, analytics, facial recognition, you know, we can, you know, heat detection, I don't know, just everything that you can think of nowadays. But
Sure.
it's just, now we're getting down to the nitty gritties. How accurate
Yeah,
is this analytics?
exactly. And
that's
they've
the
gotten so
question
much
you-
better. See,
Yes, yeah.
I'm from a long time ago, and generally they weren't very good. Even just motion detection was pretty poor. You know, and then it would just false a lot, and there was a lot of
Yeah.
noise in the images that they couldn't deal with. So
Right.
a wide range of normal, you might say, we had to accept.
Yeah.
And today that's gotten very narrow. So
Now
the
you can really
analytics are
fine-tune
very,
everything,
very good.
right? Yeah.
And that's, I think, helped the industry advance. I mean, there's a lot of data available to us today. The cameras become more of a sensor.
Yes.
In my mind, and I talk about it in that way, you know,
Right.
because everyone's more interested in the analytics than just seeing the video. They want the analytics to do the seeing for them and
Exactly.
alert them to things that they've defined, and that's what the
Exactly.
analytics help us do.
Exactly.
So we've got an interesting thing that you guys also announced. You've got some integration to Samsung's fisheye,
Yes.
block dewarp, and I think
Yeah.
we've got a picture of that. Let our audience see what happens here. So you can see that these images look like sort of like normal camera images from the ceiling, but they're actually taken and pulled out of a 360 view of a camera that's mounted directly above everything, and then they're dewarped and shown as normal camera views. So this technology is rolled out, and it's become quite popular for a lot of different places, especially in an office like this. See how they're covering multiple doors there, and that's just one installation. So there's not a labor expense of installing a lot of cameras. There's not a lot of power drains. I don't need multiple cameras on multiple switch ports. So with one camera, I can get multiple images.
Yes.
And
It's
has this become popular for
It's
you?
very, very popular for us, especially on the VMS side, because there's quite a few other camera manufacturers that make fisheyes now. It's becoming one of these Me Too products.
Yeah.
Right? The first person comes out with it, you're like, oh my gosh, that's the coolest thing. And now every manufacturer down the line is like, we got it too. And everybody is just
Sure.
a checklist product now. So, but that's great. So what we do on our side is we take the camera that you see on the fisheye and we dewarp it in our software. So you can do it actually on the camera side or
Sure.
on the software side, right? And the benefit of doing it on the software side is what you can do is record that fisheye view. So you're getting the whole image, and then in live view, you can dewarp it to the view that you like. So you're not losing out any of the resolution or the picture in a sense, but maybe you're just focused on the left and the right side doors, but because you're recording the whole scenario in playback, you can actually go back and dewarp into whatever other view
Right,
you like to
that's
see.
real important. So
Yeah.
if you're not clear, you can be recording that image and just that fisheye view, but I can play it back and play the dewarped image, which gives me a lot more data from what may have happened. It's something I want to look at a lot closer.
Exactly.
So this is a fairly unique deployment and a unique way of doing this. Have you seen the? Well, let me ask you one more question. How does Exacq license? So a lot of people charge you for each one of those other views, right? Which
Yeah.
is so if I got the
Right.
fisheye and then I've got 4 other views from it, then that's 5 licenses. So
No, yeah. For us, actually, that's just one license
Right,
because
so
it's
this is important.
one IP address, one camera. No matter how many times you dewarp it, how many times you pull in that video, it's still one license
there
charge.
you go.
Yes.
There you go. So that's another important thing about Exacq, and Exacq's got massive acceptance out there. So you can see they're doing a lot of stuff with it. If you're looking for VMSs and you haven't played with Exacq, it's one you definitely want to check out. So we've also got, I think you brought in Illustra
Yes.
also as a camera partner.
Yes. So Exacq
you're
was
good.
acquired by Tyco about 2 years ago now, and with that acquisition, it allows us to have a broader security product line.
Okay.
So that's why you see the CanTech integration being so closely with the Exacq line, because CanTech is another Tyco security product.
Okay.
So is Illustra, which is an IP camera line that we've introduced to the market. So if you go to the Exacq website, actually under products, now we have IP cameras to go with our software.
Yeah, that's true,
So-
because you really were just pure VMS all
Yep.
these years. I wasn't really thinking that
Exactly.
now that under the, and it's been under Tyco for a few years now, so
Yeah,
finally it
it's
sounds like they're
just-
taking those business units and starting to
Yeah.
merge them, leveraging those technologies that they own in-house.
Exactly, and they see the trends, right? So they see the trend. Well, Exacq being a VMS platform, well, there's so many camera manufacturers out there why don't we get a bit of that business, really,
Sure.
is what they're seeing from the top
Sure.
guys, right? So the Lustro camera line is not the old AD cameras.
Right.
So a lot of times we'll go into a meeting and talk to customers who've had experience with American Dynamics in the past. They're like, well, I've used the cameras. And I'm like, well, hold on. These are brand new cameras. They're no longer made overseas. They're actually made in Canada.
Oh,
So
okay.
new sensors, new chipset, and the whole Pro series now are built in with remote focus.
Okay.
So
That's good for
you know,
installers, by the way.
yeah. So maybe over time your lens will become out of focus and whatnot,
they
and
will
then you have
drift.
to call, your installation team and service team, go out there, get on the ladder, and refocus the cameras. So nowadays, I love technology, right? You can sit on your client all the way across the world, right-click on your video, and hit the focus button, and you'll see the focus, the lens itself adjust and focus,
And
and
it
you're
finds
done.
the image for you.
Exactly.
Isn't that awesome? So, check out Exacq. Annie Chen's got good stuff for you. She's in Hawaii just about every quarter. If you want to see some Exacq, let us know. You can check them out at Exacq.com.
Exacq.com.
EXACQ. There you go. Thanks,
Thank
Zuri,
you.
for
Thank
getting that
you.
up there for us. As you know, or you may not know, we always have a gift for our guests. We never want you to go away empty-handed. Gordo originated this idea, and this is number 44. I don't know if you can see it out there in TV land, but
Thank you.
this is a customized solo cup. So Gordo took the good ones, and this one is it has advanced features for holding on to it. It has a little beveled edges. So
Okay, got it.
this is what I had to come up with today. So that one's specialized. It may get an extra penny or two out on eBay. I don't know.
Thank you for the limited edition.
That's
huh?
it's
Yeah.
limited edition. Thank you. Thanks for helping me with that. Anyway, this has been Hibachi Talk. Thanks for joining us. We've been here with Annie Chen. Please check out Exacq Vision. Gordo, please bring Angus back. And how you doing?